Hey everybody, this is Bill. I'm the salty old Marine. Today I wanted to tell you about a couple of upcoming changes to the VA rating system, also known as the VASRD, that may affect you if you have not yet filed but intend to file for tinnitus, sleep apnea, or mental health conditions, for example, PTSD. The first thing I want to say, and this is the most important part, I think, is if you are already rated for any of those, relax. Just relax. Any changes that are made to the VA rating system after you have received your rating is not going to affect you. Okay? People use the term grandfathered in. That's not a term the VA uses, but that's essentially what it means. If you're already rated, your rating's not going to be changed when the VA rating system for that condition changes. Okay, so I just want you to understand that. Now, having said that, there are some changes coming, and as you know, on this channel, we don't do fear-mongering and we don't do clickbait titles, so I'm not trying to frighten anybody. I just want to give you a heads up. There's some changes coming. It's not unusual. The VA makes changes to the rating system all the time. These changes look like they will be coming sometime in late 2025 or early 2026. The final rule change has been proposed. They just need to set a date at this point, so it's going to happen. Here they are, real quick. Tinnitus. Tinnitus is right now a standalone condition. It's a 10% rating. If you have tinnitus and you get diagnosed and it's service-connected, it's a 10% disability rating, and it's a standalone condition. The proposal is to change that, so when the rule changes, tinnitus will go away as a standalone condition. Instead, it will be linked to other types of conditions, for example, hearing loss. So let's say your hearing loss is rated at 0%. Mine is. It's not unusual. And you have tinnitus. You would still get a 10% rating for the tinnitus as part of your hearing loss. On the other hand, let's say you have severe hearing loss and you're rated at 30%. And you have tinnitus. You'd still just get the 30% because tinnitus is now going to be part of that hearing loss. Does that make sense? Okay. If you think you're going to get a 10% disability for tinnitus as a standalone condition, you need to get in your intent to file right now. Right now. It's going to give you a year. From this date, if you put in the intent to file today, for example, 1 year to finish filing your claim, and you'll still be rated under the current rules, even if the rules have changed in the meantime. That's very important. Again, don't sleep on this. I'm not trying to tell you the sky is falling. I'm just trying to tell you there's a change coming. It won't be good for veterans who are trying to file for tinnitus for the first time. Next one up, sleep apnea. This is a biggie. This one's going to hurt veterans a lot. Right now, sleep apnea is pretty straightforward. If you get a diagnosis of sleep apnea, so you get a sleep study and it says, yes, you have sleep apnea, and you get prescribed a CPAP or similar type device, which is the standard process when you're diagnosed with sleep apnea, and you service connect it, then it's a 50% rating. Just that's it, 50%. I am rated for 50% for sleep apnea. Whether it's primary, whether it's secondary, doesn't matter. It's still a 50% rating in general. That's going to go away. Now, again, I don't like to fearmonger. I'm not trying to frighten anybody. But the VA has changed the rule, or will change the rule, so that if you have sleep apnea and it's service-connected and you have a CPAP, if that CPAP is effective, meaning it works, it reduces your apnea number, called an AHI, you get nothing. Sorry, that's what it is. So, if you're planning to file for sleep apnea, 50% is a big number. You need to get on it, my friends. Get off your ass. What else can I say? Quit procrastinating. Get your sleep study done. Make your claim. Or put in an intent to file. Gives you a year. And that way you lock in that 50% rating before the rule changes. Even if the rule changes while you're in process, you're still going to be judged under the current rules. So you could still get that 50%. Once that changes, that goes away, my friends. It goes away. So I don't know what to say. Listen, the rules have changed before, and they caught me out. All right, I applied for GERD, that's acid reflux, and in 2024, the VA changed the rules and made it so that you had to have something called esophageal stricture to get a higher rating. Well, I don't have esophageal stricture. I certainly have acid reflux. Bad. I take a lot of medication for it just to keep from throwing up in my CPAP mask every night. I'm not joking. All I got is 10% for GERD. Could have been much higher had I gotten my claim in before they changed the rules in 2024. Now, as it turns out, I wasn't aware of all of that. That all happened before I started pursuing this VA disability claims stuff. But I'm telling you, sleep apnea and tinnitus, get on it. Okay, last one I want to talk about. This one's a little controversial. Currently, under mental health rules, it's almost impossible to get a 100% rating for mental health if you can still work. In other words, if you're holding down a job, you're not going to get that 100% most of the time, right? I'm sure there are corner cases where veterans have, but for the most part, if you're still employed, you cannot get to 100%. Now, supposedly, that is changing. For real, the VA is changing how they rate mental health, and they're changing it in a very radical way, okay? So I'm not going to go through all that right now. I just want you to understand that the changes that are coming are huge for mental health in the way that it is rated. Now, having said that, a whole lot of YouTube channels are claiming that this is going to be a net negative for veterans, meaning it's going to be harder to get a higher rating, and therefore veterans are going to get hosed if they're applying under the new criteria. Listen, that is certainly possible. I'm not an expert, I don't know, and I can't read the future. But here's what I can do. The VA has in their documents that they file online stated how much they think they're either going to save or lose for any given change that they propose. For tinnitus and sleep apnea, they claim they're going to save a whole lot of money. Okay, that makes sense. If they're saving money, veterans are losing money. On the other hand, they claim that the changes to mental health are going to cost the VA a whole lot of money over time. So that tells me, I'm just doing math here, I'm not doing anything else. That tells me that the VA thinks this is going to be advantageous for veterans. It's going to put more money in veterans' pockets because it's going to cost the VA more money, a lot more money. I'll put a link in the description. You can go and look at it for yourself. All I'm doing here is following the money. I'm not trying to outthink the VA or look at all the criteria and try and apply, some sort of a magnifying glass and say this is good, this is bad. I'm no expert. I can't do that, right? I leave that to the experts, and they're probably right, but I don't know. I'm looking at the math, and the math says that the veteran is going to win on this one. In any case, whether they do or whether they don't, we don't know yet. Put in your claim now. Put in your intent to file now. Get rated now. Get rated under the current rules. If the rules change down the road, if your claim's still in process, you'll supposedly be able to choose which one is more advantageous to you, or the VA will change it for you. I'm not sure how that works, but in any case, you'll have an option. And if you get rated under the old rules and it turns out the new rules help you more, you can always apply for an increase down the road. So I would say don't wait. Put in your intent to file. Stop procrastinating. Don't waste any time. All right. That's all I had to say. That was a whole lot. Again, I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm not trying to clickbait. I'm just trying to get information out there. I hope you found this useful. I'm Bill. I am the Salty Old Marine. Please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, leave a comment. And as always, my friends, have a great day.